Well, hey there, what a time to be alive at StarCraft Remastered. Jay Barino here, continuing the Zerg campaign at the New Dominion Mission 3. With the Protoss forces beaten and scattered. Comma. The Overmind has withdrawn the swarms to the remote ash world of Char. Oh! That was actually quite interesting. That basically just confirmed that the Overmind was actually corporeal and real on Char.
Behold the power of that which is yet unborn. For the swirling images that flow forth from the chrysalis are only a shadow of the sleeper's true power.
The psionic emanations of the chrysalis have reached out into the depths of space and lured our enemies to us. Even now, we are aware of their plans.
All squadrons close formation. Scan for hostiles. Emperor Arcturus believes that there's Zerg out here, so it's our job to flush them out. I don't want any slip-ups this time. We'll show these critters that they can't run from the truth.
Engage the Terran forces with care. Your priority is to protect the chrysalis at all costs.
I think it's great that the Zaz and Dagoth portraits are a lot more distinct than they originally were. That's cool. Okay, I find this map to be relatively easy. It's just mass mutalisks. And I'm going to do my best to avoid making just mass mutalisks in the future. But for this map, it's going to just be mass mutalisks. That's exactly what's going to be. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great. It's going to be fine. We're going to take this base as soon as possible. Let's move on up. I feel like did I turn the sound up and not remember doing that? Because I feel like that's probably what happened. All right, get in there. Okay, I kept all my mutalisks alive. We cleared this out as well. I want to take this base pretty quickly. A lot of different entrances here. The Terran can come from over here, but they typically run by this expansion area, so I like to set up defense along the side of this ledge right here, and they run by it and die because they're clowns. Alrighty, so probably not even going to be making Hydralisk Zergling here. Maybe just a couple to defend, but not really that important. Again, the sooner I can take this base, the better, but I do need enough drones to actually saturate these minerals and get started, because if we want to make a decent amount of mutalisks, probably just 2 groups would be enough. But once we get that started, or once we have enough there, then that is enough to win, but that means we need 2,400 Vespene, plus upgrades, plus the Spires, plus the Lair, all the prereqs, all that good stuff. And obviously we're going to want to upgrade them to at least 1-1 makes sense to me. But I also don't want to wait for 2 upgrades or even 4 if we only have 1 Spire, so whatever. We'll come up and take this base, though, as soon as possible, only because then we can set up some more defense around this area. That'll be nice. I brought this up both times I've played Mass Recall. Oh, you mother... Get out of here. I brought this up both times I've played Mass Recall, but I think it's funny. I like to imagine in the briefing, because Duke says, I don't want any slip-ups this time. I like to imagine something absurd happening. Like, I think the first time I was like, oh, it's like, what happened? Did they, like, slip on a banana peel or something? It's just, like, it's just a ridiculous idea. Because when were they here last? And in both Mass Recall videos, I've gotten extremely lengthy information about, like, oh, well, it was from this incident, or it was the Kelmorians, or it was when Jim Raynor stole the Hyperion, or it was when they destroyed the Ion Cannon. Let me be clear, it does not matter to me in the slightest, but I appreciate people's diligence in making sure that others know. Because when you leave a comment like that, again, you're sharing it with the world of people who may be curious when, I bring up that, and I'm mostly joking, but other people will read it, or they'll hear me say that, and they'll be like, hey, he's right, though. What is that? What are they referring to? So what my goal is I'm hoping that someone may leave a different answer than the other 2 times that I've played this map in Mass Recall, because then maybe what I can do is make a little collage of the different instances where General Duke has been to Char, apparently, or has made a mistake with Alpha Squadron, and I'll review them. I'll spend some time working up the ability to lucid dream, and then I'll dreamwalk through the experience of General Duke slipping on a banana peel the last time he was here. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Is I'm sticking with the banana peel thing. All right, folks. You can't change my mind, even though it's obviously one of the things that people have talked about. Let's get this base saturated and get this show on the road. Maybe even making a third hatchery closer to this extractor would be worth it. It really doesn't hurt. Can I? God, motherfucking StarCraft 1 putting your base structures in the dumbest places. Motherfuckers putting the Hydralisk den. There's a mission later on. Imagine this same layout of minerals. Where this hatchery is, they put the spawning pool. Why? It's almost like they designed the maps just because they're like, well, we're emphasizing that you're the player character and you have a lot of control based on how smart you can be with your strategies. We're just emphasizing how fucking stupid whoever did this was before you arrived. Because that's basically what it is. That's what it seems like. Whoever was controlling this, whatever cerebrate set this up, was an idiot. And I am sad for them. Let's get this going. Let's get this going right away. More gas. Lots and lots of gas. More drones. And then overlords. I do want a third hatchery either way. Let's do that. Sunken colony. Need an Evo chamber so that we can make some spore colonies as well. More drones. Did I start overlords? I don't think I did. I need to do that. You guys can come on up here. We'll have you on, harvesting gas in no time. And by no time, I mean in travel time. Let's just grab more colonies again. Colonies along these ledges are really all you need. I'll make a spore colony over here and a spore colony there. Just keep this locked down. This is kind of my little central island of defense. Come on. Oh, it's 75. There you go, buddy. Now you can do it. These Hydralisks are probably enough defense. Okay. More gas. We can get a fourth one on gas up there, too. Spore colony. Sunken colony. Spore colony. There we go. I do find Zerg defensive structures are my favorite of the bunch. Photon cannons are very fragile. And bunkers require supply to make them cost-effective. Same with siege tanks. I mean, they're units. Siege tanks are units, but bunkers you need to spend supply to put things in them, and they have less HP than Zerg sunken colonies. So the total cost of sunken colonies 125 compared to a bunker which is 100. Plus the 200 minerals worth of marines that you have to dump in there too. Granted, the DPS of a bunker is in between a photon cannon and a sunken colony, I think. So it depends. They're good for different things. Obviously, you know, like a group of 6 to 7 Zerglings will fare better against a bunker, I think, than they would against. No, wait, they'd fare better against a sunken colony. Sunken colony's better against single targets. I don't know. Someone's probably done the math and can prove me wrong for multiple reasons here. Because sunken colonies do better damage against large units, I think, and yada yada yada. There's some justification that can happen there. Let's go ahead and start our lair. Make some overlords, get the prerequisites going for what we need to make this happen. Get a few more drones up here. Really stockpiling that Vespene, because that's going to be the real requirement to make this work. And then we'll just sit our Hydralisks and Mutalisks just right in our mineral line. Cause our drones to be confused, but at the same time, it will at least stop any wraiths from coming in and ruining our day. And I'll move an Overlord up here, too, just to sit. I don't even think the wraiths can cloak in this mission, to be honest, so I don't know. I'll get Overlord speed just in case, but I don't think that's going to be a particular issue. All right, that's the Vespene. That's the Vespene income that we've come to know and love. How long does this lair take? Good lord. I also am intrigued to see what the lair looks like with the lava coming out of it. It probably looks like a lair with lava coming out of it, actually. I think I've answered my own question. Spore colonies look good. Also, it certainly changes the way that I look at spore colonies now as well. Wow, yeah, it changes the way I see it in the original graphics when you look at it remastered. Like this weird little pulsating hole, for the lack of a better term, is where the spore actually comes out, and this is like, I don't know, the exhaust pipe. You're all clear, kid. Let's blow this thing and go home. And I always thought that this was where the spore comes out of, but actually, as it turns out, it's coming out of this weird little pulsating butthole. A lot of Zerg buildings have what is basically a butthole on them. I mean, they're all living things. It would be it would be kind of funny, though, if... Let's make 2 spires. It would be kind of funny if every so often, if you waited long enough, every Zerg structure just pooped. Just a tiny little poop came out. Like the little Hydralisk triangular butthole. Just a tiny little poop. And it wouldn't be too noticeable, and it would despawn very quickly. But I think it would be funny. The spire out of the tiny little butthole on the top, it would like squirt out a little poop that would flop onto the ground and despawn really quickly, and you'd have to be very observant, but you would see it. I mean, again, they're all living structures, right? I think it would be funny. That's all I'm saying. Some people are like, oh, Jaber, are you talking about poop? That would be hilarious. I would love to hear someone argue that would not be incredibly funny. All right, I'm 29 years old. Apparently, I have the sense of humor of a child. Poop is always funny, though, unless you have some sort of illness related to your bowels. Then, of course, it's, you know, that's not funny. I'll give you that. I feel like issues with your bowels, like irritable bowel syndrome, it's one of those things. It's an unfortunate faux pas because it's something that really can directly impact your day-to-day life, but it's not something that you want to talk to on a daily basis. You're like, oh well, I've got 3 meetings scheduled in the first 3 hours that I arrive at work, but I also get a ridiculous urge to poop that I can't control. And this is not meant to be funny. I'm just pointing out this is a really unfortunate fact of life for a lot of people with IBS, and some people have it much worse than others. And again, like, you're obligated to attend meetings or meet a deadline at work, whatever. And rather than saying, you know, I wasn't diligent enough, I didn't do my work, I didn't spend my time, or I forgot I had a meeting. It's, you know, how can you come out and tell your coworkers, your peers, or your colleagues at school, your classmates, like, well, no, actually, I just get the uncontrollable urge to use the bathroom at the worst possible times, specifically in the mornings, whatever, or like, oh, I ate something with an ingredient in it that I didn't expect. That's big for a lot of people. Like, I feel genuinely bad for folks that have to deal with that. And again, it's sort of like a social faux pas where you can't just outright say, well, I had to poop. That should be an acceptable excuse. The problem is it could be abused. It's like the new I had a relative die kind of thing. Yeah, the go-to stereotypical excuse for being late or being delinquent on something is you say, like, oh, my grandfather passed away, and then the joke's like, oh, how many grandparents do you have? And then the person's like, well, actually, I had 4, and they all passed away very, very close to each other. That's actually quite sad if that were to actually happen. But, you know, I digress. Jokes aside, you know, the common stereotype when you're trying to crack a joke about being delinquent is you had a relative who passed away. And then it's not true, you know, something like that. Actually, I'm on a yacht in the Caribbean on spring break with my classmates that my parents paid for through my trust fund. I don't have a trust fund. I'm making fun of people who would do something like that. I'm not nearly that wealthy. Anyway, again, another digression. But that excuse just isn't there to say, I have horrible bowel problems, near uncontrollable. I've discussed it with my physician, and unfortunately there's nothing I can do about it. You know, that's just an unfortunate part of life for some people, and they have no recourse. I feel bad for them. That's all I'm saying. This all started from the fact that Zerg buildings, it would be funny if they pooped. It's one thing leads to another. We're talking about it. Anyway, yeah, the spore colonies look real cool. Again, we get the idea of where they actually are firing from, which I think is neat. It's very, very neat. Because, yeah, the original spore colony model, the projectiles seemed to just sort of shoot out of the middle of it, and it wasn't clear where it was coming from. Did anyone else realize that this was actually the orifice, if you will, where the spore came from? And yeah, you could say, okay, the Zerg buildings do poop in a way. The spore colonies are shooting spores, you know, it's like they're pooping. But no, I'm talking like an actual human poop. That would be funny. And it doesn't have to be large, it doesn't have to be disgusting. I'm just like, it would just be so funny if there's just a tiny little, like, boop, every so often. Come on. Can't argue with that. I mean, you can't argue with that. Some people get squeamish about weird topics like that. I don't know. I don't know what to tell those people. Go find another video of someone playing StarCraft Remastered who's not talking about poop. All right, more Mutalisks, and then we're just about done. What else am I supposed to talk to, if not poop, while we're sitting here just waiting for larvae to make more Mutalisks? I ask you. If, you know, it's... What kind of world would it be if we didn't have that option? Okay, we got one group of Mutalisks. We got two group of Mutalisks. We get one more. Got a few too many drones now. We've mined it out. That's exciting. I don't know what world we live in where that is actually exciting, but okay. Let's get the show on the road. This is probably fine. I still don't know what the whole save game thing is, and I'm recording this probably a week and a half to 2 weeks before it comes out. It's very possible it's fixed by now, but I'll just delete my save and make a new one just in case, because people were warning me that could be a problem. All right, rally up to the Mutalisks themselves. Just make more of them. Okay, let's do it. There are Marines and stuff in these bases, but it doesn't matter. Just get in there. There are no science vessels, which... Science vessels and mass Marines are probably the biggest threat to Mutalisks. I mean, obviously you can stack missile turrets, but that's not going to be a particular issue. Missile turrets are just kind of a joke. Okay, and then every Marine in existence will make their way down here. Let's actually back up and lure them to us. We force them to stim as well. It's actually a lot of Marines. I'm actually surprised. You guys get on up here, help them out. I don't know anything about Mutalist stacking. Also, if you run into the bunkers, you can lure the Marines out of the bunkers because they're idiots. Gotta protect every supply depot. Okay, and the reason you don't want to make ground on this map is because there are a lot of siege tanks. This map is, I think, designed to say, hey, make Mutalisks, asshole. And you really don't know that until you've either played the map or you attack once into the enemy base and realize, this is not going to work too well, unless you make a lot of Zerglings. You're going to need a lot of them because, again, you got 3 bunkers at the top of this ramp and 2 siege tanks. Not to mention siege tanks are going to be hitting your units on their way in. Like, that's kind of tough. That's pretty tough to deal with. I don't think you have to destroy every supply depot, so maybe I'll avoid doing that. I'm not actually sure. I did turn the digital volume up so that the dialogues would be a bit louder. So let me know if the attack sounds are too loud, and then I'll turn it back down. But then again, the dialogue would be turned down as well. A few people have commented, and there's nothing I can do about it. Let me just show you very quickly. See the sound here? Music volume and digital volume. Digital volume encompasses all of the in-game sounds that are not the music, including the dialogue. They are not separate. So I can't turn the dialogue volume up while leaving the rest turned down. You just can't do it. That's just the way it is. Alright, let's get these bunkers. You guys move on over here. We can leave the supply depots alive. There we go. What's that Protoss mission call when you're on char before you go into the installation? Isn't the installation into fire? Or into the flames or something? I don't remember what the one before it is called, but anyway. That one where you can find the island of the abandoned Dominion buildings. I'm going to assume, or the Alpha Squadron buildings, I'm going to assume that what was left behind is the stuff that we're leaving alive here. I don't know, man. Got that head cannon going on. Let's see if that does it. Maybe we also have to get rid of the bunkers. Let's send these guys back just in case. No, I guess we do have to. You know what? I don't think it's specific buildings. It's just a certain count, a certain number of buildings.
You sorry bastards, fall back. Fall back.
Hold, Cerebrate. Do not pursue them.
Cerebrate, you must stay and relocate the chrysalis to a more secure location. Dagoth shall deal with the remaining Terran forces.
Yeah, he's gonna find a real challenge in these 4 remaining supply depots. Well, there's some off-screen Terrans. There's obviously more of them on the planet. I get it. Okay, let's just check the score screen. And I'm not gonna open the map. Maybe someone else already knows offhand. Yeah, I'll wait for someone who may already know this offhand. So what actually triggers the victory condition there? Because it just sort of triggered. I hadn't explicitly destroyed something. Maybe it was like you have to have units within a certain area of the Dominion base, and they have to have under a certain number of buildings or no production buildings or something. I've always wondered. I haven't always wondered. It's only when I play this map, which has happened maybe 5 to 6 times in my entire lifetime. So, yeah, it's just a curiosity. So maybe someone can fill me in there. Thanks for watching, everybody. When we come back, we're going to be seeing good old Jimmy again. See you later. Bye now.